get your thoughts on, because I do believe he's incredibly underrated, and I feel like history is almost like he's going under the radar as the years go by. How underrated was Bobby Eaton? I thought Bobby Eaton was fantastic. Do you feel he's underrated a little bit over the years? Like he doesn't get enough love? Because I feel like he doesn't. That's just my opinion, of course, but thoughts on Bobby Eaton?
From the real boys, he gets a lot of love.
I bet he does.
Bobby, and then I want you to stop and think about this. How many stories have you heard about Bobby Eaton? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard any of the boys say something bad about him?
Not yet. We've been doing this quite a while. Not a word.
Nobody has.
Yeah, not a word.
Bobby is, I love Bobby Eaton. Bobby Eaton.
It was a pleasure working with him.
Him and Jerry Lawler, I thought, Bobby being in the tag teams, and Jerry could tell some of the greatest stories in a match there ever was. And it's not the big things. It's the little things that Bobby did in a match that caught your attention, because nobody else does stuff like that. And all, Bobby was the greatest. But I don't know if it's because Cornette's got so much heat with the offices that they have to. I don't know. I love Jimmy Cornette too. I don't care what he says of him. There's nothing he can say to make me not love him. I don't care. He has his podcast and he blisters people's asses.
He goes wild. Yes, he does.
But he hates us, by the way. Just throw that right in there.
Does he really?
Blocked us. He blocked us. Hi, Jim.
Really?
Yeah.
How you doing there, buddy?
Jim's not a fan.
What? Hi, Jim. Hey.
Well, I don't know.
You're ruining wrestling.
Who's ruining wrestling?
You.
But
Me?
But if
Hi, Jim.
if nothing else, but they did put him in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Robert and I are going into the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in October. One in Wichita Falls, Texas. It's a great honor. Thank you guys. But if nothing else, WWE, they don't got to put Cornette, but they need to bring the Midnight Express on stage.
Sure.
And they really need to have somebody there to tell them the greatest heel team that ever performed.
You're not going to get an argument from me. No,
this is what we're
argument
trying to do here, right? We're trying We're trying to educate the newer fans on icons like yourself that have made this business, and sometimes it just gets lost in translation.
Okay, and I'm glad you said that, fella, because I've been watching wrestling, and I've been watching where they're going, and and you see where Vince just let go 20 more people. And I'm sorry for the guys that they're, but I think they're going to have to re-educate our fans all over again, because now if you watch TV, and I'm sorry to say this, I'm not knocking the guys, but holy shit, they all dress alike. They all got the ripped bodies, which that's cool. I mean, because you are professional wrestlers and you look good, but you still got to have your other ones. You still got to have the guys with the gimmicks, and you still got to learn how to get heat to make this pay-per-view next week something to watch. And the damn first thing they need to do is don't let the people know what the finishes are. God damn, they already know everything before they go there.
How about make it a little more realistic?
Huh?
How about make it more realistic?
Yeah, bring back some realism.
Okay.
I want to feel like I'm watching a fight with a purpose.
Thank you for saying that.
Please.
Yeah.
In my time, when I was in my prime, and I took pride in this, okay? My deal was to give Robert a hot tag. He did the best comeback in the world. You understand me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd get annihilated.
But listen to me. If I can make the guy on the front row really believe what's happened to me is happening. Now I'm talking about, if you shoot me out of a fucking cannon, I'm not going to kick out on one. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Today's fan doesn't, but I do.
See, now I'm thinking about him. Now, just think when I'm wrestling, and Arn Anderson keeps asking me, and my nickname's Punky. unanswered asking me, go, Punky, you okay? Are you hurt? Now, even the guy I'm wrestling thinks I'm hurt. So what the hell you think that guy way up there in that saying? What the hell you think that guy on TV saying? All right?
Oh, yeah.
And in our business, it's not about putting over or losing a match. It's a business.
You got to have a good guy and a bad guy.
Huh?
To draw money, you got to have a good guy and a bad guy.
Yes, but
Absolutely.
see, drawing money as a baby face, I don't want to win. You see, because if I win, what am I going to do next week?
It's the chase.
You understand?
The chase.
Well, the fans
People pay to see me win. They don't pay to see me lose when you're a champion.
Right.
And if a heel screws you every week or every month or whatever you do, that's what puts asses back in the seats.
Yeah.
And it's hard. But see, I'm glad you said that because it's going to come a time when they're going to need people like that. And finally, I might get a damn job with a big company in the back.
There you go.
Because I know that. And I know how to explain it to the guys. I know what they're doing. Even on the independent circuit, the guy asked me, hey, would you watch my match? I say, sure. And I go out and watch it. And he comes back. And I said, did you watch the match before you? He goes, no. I said, well, you did the same damn thing. It's just a repeat of everything. And it's like Robert and I nowadays, when we go on these independent shows, I was talking to Eric about this earlier. You know, I like to go on before intermission because most of them are 27 matches. People sit there and see the same shit over and over and over. And nobody knows how to work the crowd. Nobody has to do this right here. And if we're on 27th, and I'm not, but they already got our autograph and they're gone.
They're already drained.
Because it's 2 o'clock in the damn morning. Nobody gives a shit no more.
Right.
But if you keep the people interested in the card, see, this is what was good in the old days. You had your opening matches that built up.
Right.
And then your semi-main event was an angle.
But then again,
which is the
it was an
tag team,
exclusive
you know.
club, too. Now everybody and their brother can be a wrestler. I mean, shit, at my age,
feels
I can
like
go
that.
pay $250. I want to be a wrestler.
It feels like
Oh,
that.
yes, I got you.
Yeah, it feels like that. Everybody's a
crazy.
wrestler.
Everybody comes up to you, and see, this is what kills me, too. They give you the wrestling handshake. It's what they think is a wrestling handshake.
right.
They don't have a clue what that even means. And
Yeah,
I do.
did you have someone try to give you the wrestling? Hey, what's
Yeah,
up, bro?
yeah, like
What was that?
You know, look at, I'm
my
going,
hand.
what the
What the
fuck?
hell?
Man, what are you doing? But they don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's the main thing about the guys today. If you got to break them into the business, see, I don't teach a headlock at my wrestling school. I got somebody else to do that. I teach you how to understand our business. And then and that's the same thing I was telling my daddy. What I'm explaining to you right now, I'll be better off talking at wall because you ain't gonna have a clue what I'm talking about until later on, and it hit you,
It will hit you like a brick.
and it will. And see, that's what I try.
You're like, damn, that's what Daddy was talking about.
Yes, and that's what I try to teach my people at my wrestling school.
What's a greater battle, teaching the physical or teaching the psychological? It sounds like teaching the psychological.
Psychology. You learn that by experiencing over and over and over. That's how that's finally when it comes to you.
Interesting.
You know, the physical part these days, that's some bullshit. You know.
It's gymnastics for the most part.
Let me ask you this. Does it get you mad? Now, I'm pointing out AEW, for example. But a guy like Orange Cassidy comes out and makes a joke of the business, kicking you in the shin, has his hands in his pockets. As a professional and a Hall of Famer like yourself, aren't you angry over this?
No. I'm no. But,
Is it because being over is over, or
no? But one thing about getting old in the business, you got to go with the flow.
Understood.
Actually, Orange Cassidy's a hell of a worker.
Right, I understand that.
We're in entertainment business, and Vince done told everybody that. I'm not here to insult anybody's intelligence. I'm not here to do stuff like that. You know, everything's a hard road, but see, as Orange Cassidy being a regular wrestler, where do you go? But when Orange Cassidy stuck his hands in his pockets, he went to the top, Bo.
Yeah, is that gimmick sustainable though? No, it's not.
What's
it's not
that?
it's not a sustainable gimmick. You can't sustain that gimmick.
Yeah, okay. Oh, and back then it wouldn't have worked. But I'm just saying.
Your buddy Cornette absolutely loves Orange Cassidy. Boy, he kills him.
If you had great workers this
Jim
time,
Cornette.
because I understand, I love to work with him because I understand his gimmick.
Sure, understood.
But see, a lot of the guys he works don't understand his gimmick. That's the whole point of our business that I like to teach people. To me, we have, everybody, your opinion is like your ass. Everybody's got one. But it's good. I like it.
Honestly, it's a very original thing he came up with, obviously.
Okay,
Who on earth is doing that? You got to give him that.
At least he's different.
Absolutely.
And at least he don't look like everybody.
Very true.
And that's what I'm trying to make a point of.
Right. But Mike thinks he was changing his towels at the swim club. That's what he thinks of when he looks at Orange Cassidy. He doesn't see any image when he looks at Orange Cassidy. He just looks like another guy,
Somebody you can take, huh? Somebody you can take.
Exactly.
That's what he's getting at.
You don't want the wrestler that you're looking at going, I could kick that guy's ass.
I don't think that ever, by the way.
I mean, seriously.
He thinks that.
Yeah.
But I got to say this for him. It's a lot of balls diving out of that rope with no hands.
Yeah.
That's a lot of balls coming off that top rope.
Go to Circus Olay then.
Circus Olay.
Go to the circus.
But look at the wrestler today. Fuck, they need to put trapeze shit up above the ring because that's all it looks like.
Pretty much. Did you guys?
I'm going to beat you up, but hold on. Stand there because I'm going to go on the top rope. I'm going to do a triple Lindy and hit you with my toe.
I promise you I'll move.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
Did you guys catch any crap when you were, you accepted the WWE Hall of Fame induction? Look, we go at it all the time with one type of fan, the Vince McMahon hater, who's obviously an old school territory loyalist. Did you guys catch any crap for accepting Vince's induction, considering you didn't do work with Vince? Anybody say to you, what are you doing going to Vince's Hall of Fame? Any kind of crap like that? Because
I thought it was the greatest compliment ever.
Absolutely.
Everybody gave him support for going.
Were you surprised? Were you surprised when you got the call?
And see, now you stop to think about this. We didn't work for WWE.
Right.
But they put us in their Hall of Fame. What are they trying to tell the people out there?
It's one of the greats.
That in our time, Robert and I were the greatest babyface tag team.
Absolutely.
And it's worked. No, let me tell you guys something. Now at the Performance Center, where they have their trainings, what do you think they do there? And because it's a lot more than just going there, getting in a ring. They have classes where they show tapes. What tapes do you think they say? Vince McMahon said, "All right, watch Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson here." Okay. Do you understand me?
They steady watching their tapes, showing their kids.
Yeah, watch this tape. Watch Ricky Morton say, watch Robert Gibson do it.
There you go.
Comeback.
And again, another compliment to you guys. We talk about this all the time. Today's wrestler is small, okay? You guys
wrestlers are what?
Are small.
A lot of them.
Smaller.
Yes, I got you.
You guys were on the smaller end, but you always played big.
Yes.
I always believed that you could take on an Nikita Koloff and beat him.
Absolutely.
Because we use our speed.
But see, now, thank you for saying that. Because that was back then, that was called working, that was psychology.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Now, and I'm going to go off here on a whole, I'm a squirrel jumping over here to this limb again. Now, Jerry Lawler was great at telling stories. But to me, the greatest of all times, the greatest world heavyweight champion was Ric Flair. But
again, you guys were superheroes. There's the difference. You were superheroes. You weren't Orange Cassidy. I don't mean to make this an Orange Cassidy thing. You are superheroes. All right, we got about 5 minutes left. All right, what do you got, buddy?
They say that imitation is the greatest form of flattery, so I always found it very interesting. You guys worked, in the AWA, of course, the Rockers. How did it feel to see the Rockers are you guys? I mean, when they started off, it was like, here's the, how did you feel about that?
In Louisiana, Shawn Michaels used to ride in the back seat with us. He was just Shawn Michaels. I remember the first time we did a scaffold match in Louisiana. We're in St. Charles. Charles, wasn't it?
Lake Charles.
Lake Charles. Anyway, they're setting up the big old scaffolds, and Sean went out there and he climbed up that shit halfway up, and he come back down. He goes, "Hell no."
Oh, okay,
He said,
but,
"Hell no."
but listen to me.
That's hilarious.
Sean's like, no,
Well, they
thanks.
became the Midnight Rockers.
Right.
It was a compliment to me.
Sure.
Sean is a friend of mine.
Sure.
He's a friend of Robert's. You hear me? Marty was a friend of ours.
Sure.
I really, and don't
I
get
remember
me
coming
wrong,
in there-
I don't know what happened to Marty. Marty just,
I know he punched me in the face when he was in
He
studio.
did punch him in the face.
Did he
That's
really?
a whole other story.
That's
Yeah.
a whole nother
Yeah,
story.
that's
But
how-
on the floor was a lot of fun.
I just don't know. I had my bad times in my life, where I went through I'm not lying to you.
Sure.
I did cocaine. I'm not lying to you, but I didn't know what happened. I know that it was a great compliment to us. I love Marty.
I know the boys used to say, "Hey, man, y'all better not be wearing them bandanas." Me and Rick walked in, and hey, I don't give a damn. Y'all can wear them. We don't bother
yes.
us. Go ahead.
Sean here, I said, man, that's cool, bro.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
But you know what? And we worked at a little deal with them out of Memphis. And we did good business.
Yeah.
We had great matches with, Martin, I got to say this now. Shawn Michaels a hell of a worker. He's
course.
a hell of a worker.
Of course.
Not bullshit.
Did you see the
Marty
greatness
wasn't
coming?
bad,
Because
but
Shawn Michaels-
Shawn was great.
Did you see the greatness back then that was coming for him? Were you surprised when he became such a superstar? This guy's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, Shawn, I side you back watch.
How about
CWE
Marty back
just
in those
took their
days?
time
Marty was
grooving
I
in.
love Marty. Marty's good.
Marty was fabulous back in those days.
Marty was good.
Yeah, Marty was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just don't know.
He's a little out there though.
I gotta
just
get
don't know
in.
what
I gotta
happened
get
to
in
him.
my typical Freebird question. What was it like working with the Freebirds and Michael Hayes, Buddy Jack Roberts, and Terry Gordy?
Me and Michael Hayes used to hitchhike to the TV station together, set the ring up.
They grew up together.
Really?
You grew up with Michael Hayes?
I give Michael Hayes his first.
Did you guys
job.
have measuring contests and stuff like that? Because you're legendary. I'm assuming Michael Hayes has been around the block,
I give Michael Hayes his first job setting the ring up.
Yes.
Wow.
Really?
I was the head of the ring crew.
Michael,
Really?
Yeah.
Michael, for his
He
time,
hitchhiked
he was
to
one
the
of the
TV
greatest talkers ever.
I really believe
Without a
that.
doubt.
I felt like he could have been world champion.
No, he
We
wasn't.
debate about this all the time. I felt
He
was
wasn't
world
the
champion.
greatest worker,
Right. Okay.
but I'm not getting me wrong. He drew money,
Okay.
but
He could talk.
boy, he could talk.
How about Terry Gordy?
And Michael don't have no. When you're in the ring with him, you be his partner. He don't have any. Know that you're his partner. You be standing beside him. Look, pow, boom, hits you there.
Terry Gordy was so big. He started wrestling when he was like 16.
Yeah.
Yes, and Terry was phenomenal worker.
He was for a
God.
big guy.
Oh yes,
Loose.
he was. No,
Great.
he started working before he was 16.
Yeah.
Hell, he was a heavyweight champion at 16 years old. I think he started working at 14. He was big like that then.
Big dude.
This is a difficult question, but how does it feel watching all these guys that you've worked with pass away? All these wrestlers pass away. I mean, does it rip your heart apart? I mean, we lost Road Warrior Animal.
Yeah,
we're
he
just
was-
losing all these guys.
Listen, dude, these guys, it's a different whole thing in our days. We were the boys. We didn't have contracts, and we depended on each other to make a living. Nowadays the guys get hurt for events where they're on contracts. How they go home for 6 months. We still had to work.
If we didn't show it, we didn't get paid.
And then when you worked with them, and if you was hurt, I promise you, nobody knew you were hurt because we knew how to work around it and we had to take care of it. Mike and Joe, Animal and Hawk, loved these guys. I mean, I absolutely, because you don't know what all we done and we've been through together. And not only them, just so many of the boys that died, and ones that nobody even think about, like Killer Tim Brooks. I don't know if he passed away, but when I was a kid in Texas, he took care of me. At that time, he taught me how to work and make me better. You see what I'm saying?
Back
And
then,
it's-
everybody helped each other.
Yes, and nowadays they don't give a shit. But these were my friends, and I hadn't really told many people about this. My birthday was September the 21st, and Joe calls me, and he wishes me a happy birthday. I'm going to see him Saturday in Jackson, and we're talking, and the next day was his anniversary, and he was telling me what him and his wife were going to do, and I'm joking with him, but I never forget this, man. He says, Ricky, I called him, when we were gang, he said, Ricky Morton, I love you. And I said, Joe, I love you too. And he said, I see you Saturday. And he died the next day. And his wife. You see, that's things that's really
Hard.
Yeah, it's hard. It's emotional. And I'm the kind of guy, I don't go to funerals. I remember you as you were. It's even like I told my wife, I says, if I die, and I don't have no funeral. I do not have no funeral. I don't want nobody to come see me dead, and burn me up. Spread my ashes wherever you want to. I don't like that. So it's not disrespecting anybody over that, but I want to remember you as you were. It's a lot of hard times in this business, guys, that the crowds don't understand. It's a lot of things that you don't understand, how we depended on each other, how we loved each other. Back then, you didn't fight. You understand me? You cut, if you had a problem, you just cut an interview on them, and it was over with. Nowadays, they want to beat you up and kill you, and, well, hell, when they wrestle you in the ring, they beat you up and kill you. And guys get beat up in the ring, they don't know they got beat up.
My career has impacted other people's lives.
Well done. And that was not scripted, by the way. That was straight from the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Road Warrior Animal passed away recently. Thoughts on Road Warrior?
Yeah. Like many, I suppose. I mean, very surprising. His wife had reached out to me just about, 10, 12 days prior, I think a couple weeks prior to that, just randomly, and said, hey, Joe's 60th birthday's coming up. I'd like to surprise him. Would you shoot me a video, happy birthday video to him? And, of course, I mean, Joe and I go back to 1978. I think I was sharing with you guys, or some of the guys, that when I went to the funeral service, other than his brother John and his brother Mark, I looked around that room, kind of dawned on me, I've known him longer than anybody else in that room, with the exception of his two brothers.
Wow.
And I guess, the number one thing is it just lends itself for all of us to understand, that mortality is a reality, and there is no promise of tomorrow. We do what we can, or I do what I can to take care of myself, exercise, eat, work out, and do the things I feel I'm within my control to do, but still realizing that there is no promise of tomorrow, and so these sorts of things happen. I posted a magazine cover shot. It was interesting. It was Ivan and I wearing the NWA tag team belts, and Animal and Hawk wearing the AWA tag team belts. And I asked the fans, I go, hey, what do you notice about this magazine cover? And I think only one or two pointed out the fact that I'm the sole survivor of that cover at this point. that the other three have all passed on. So.
Well, we know what Ivan, obviously meant to your career as a wrestler. Can you tell us how much Ivan meant to you as a person?
Yeah, we became. And people ask you. Of course, they still ask. Believe it or not, to this day, is she really your uncle? Or, hey, your brother Ivan, or your cousin? They all kinds of things, right? I'm like, all right, it all works. But was he really your uncle? And I'm like, well. He was in TV land. However, he was as much an uncle to me as any uncle I ever had, because he was instrumental, him and Don Kernodle, and helping teach me the ropes, pun intended, of wrestling, and we became close friends outside the ring, and spent a lot of time together, even really right up to his passing, and his wife. She wanted a very private graveside service, and asked if I would, be essentially the main speaker, which I was certainly honored to do that.
Wow!
And there might have been, I don't know, I think she invited maybe 25 people, not many. Mm-hmm. So just those who were really close, family, and then friends who were really close. And so it was quite an honor, and again, nothing but just incredible thoughts when I think about Ivan and all that he accomplished, certainly inside the wrestling ring, but even what he did with his life post wrestling.
Did Ivan reach out to you towards the end, maybe to talk about God and maybe get some clarity towards the end? Because I know you preached the word, and
it wasn't towards the end. It was actually. So I give my life to Christ 17 October 1993.
Farrell's birthday.
I
have to throw that in.
Your birthday. We share birthdays.
There you go.
And so
there you go.
And then there we go. And then I was in 1995. I got connected with an evangelist out of South Africa, and began to really just be mentored by him, and I felt impressed to call Ivan and invite him. This evangelist was doing revival services in North Carolina, and so I reached out to Ivan. I remember I reached out to him on a Monday, and I knew that the evangelist was going to be there all week, and just invited Ivan. I didn't know he was at the service until the end of the service, when the evangelist gave what somebody knows as an altar call. And there was Ivan standing at the altar,
really,
surrendering his life to Jesus. That was
really?
1995.
Okay.
And it was the real deal. And by that I mean, prior to that, Ivan, by his own admission, and even in books and videos, would admit that he had drug addictions, tobacco addiction. I mean, he was a big chewer. He drank a lot of alcohol, ran around a lot or whatever. But you know what? On that night, kind of like those who are familiar with the Bible, was the Saul in the Bible who had a road to Damascus experience and had a real life-changing transformation.
Yep.
That was Ivan's story.
Interesting.
I mean, he went literally that night. It was like the slate was wiped clean, and from that point on, he never, by his choosing. He never had another drop of alcohol, another pinch of tobacco, didn't take another drop. I mean, cleaned his whole life out. Went on to become an ordained minister.
What made you invite him? Just
why?
What made you invite him? Had he been asking about things like faith?
No. I just felt really just felt the Lord impress it upon my heart. Like, you need to call Ivan and invite him. And part of the inspiration is in having traveled with him on the road.
Okay.
And knowing, if you want to say, his lifestyle.
Okay.
And the things that he was doing, like the things I just mentioned.
Yeah.
I just, in my heart of hearts, I was like, I need to call Ivan and invite him. I didn't know that he would come. I really didn't even think he would come. But if you've ever heard his testimony or his story about that, he'll tell you after I called him, just something in his heart said, I need to go. if it means that, if it means a lot to, he used to call me Nicky. He was one of the few who called me Nicky.
Okay.
And he said if Nicky is going to take the time to invite me, then I need to go. And he said there was just this compelling draw inside of him to go.
Right.
And so that was 1995, and so all those years, like he used to do a lot of autograph signings and stuff, like the Walmarts for the Children's Miracle Network and everything. Anywhere and everywhere he went after that, like there'd be his 8x10s and there'd be his Bible, and he wouldn't necessarily bring it up, but if a fan came and brought it up, he would just open right up and just start sharing how Jesus changed his life and how much that Bible meant to him, and just have conversations.
So we were talking in the car also about your wrestling career and Ivan, and something that you said in passing through the conversation, we were talking about, God, if you only would have came to the World Wrestling Federation and Ivan could have came with you. But the one thing you said is you didn't think Ivan would have come. Why?
Well, I don't know. It probably falls in line with the same question people ask me or comment on social media and other things as why isn't he in the Hall of Fame for the WWE? I don't know the answer to that, and my guess is whatever happened in the past, and there's got to be something, obviously something that happened that's kept him out of the Hall of Fame,
Something
whatever
with
that
him and
reason
Vince.
is.
Yeah.
That same reason probably would have prevented him from being invited back up there, back to the WWF.
Did he ever share with you any problems with Vince McMahon Jr.?
No, we never. I mean, we weren't talking about WWF, man. We were talking about NWA and Rock and Roll Express and Road Warriors, and we're looking at what's in front of us, not the competition.
But as a wrestler, and now that there's only really one game in town, I know AEW is coming around and NWA Power is trying to do their thing there. Now wrestlers say New York was the pinnacle. When you got there, that's when you knew you made it. Is that what you felt, or did you not feel that at all?
Didn't feel that at all. I mean, I'd say it was some pretty good competitive days between WWF and NWA, and once we started going head to head, like for example, I mean, I can clearly remember going to Philadelphia. They were at the Spectrum and we were at the Civic Center. We had 10,000 people. They had 10,000 people. Yep. I mean, head to head. We had one opportunity to go to Landover to the Cap Center over a 4th of July, and I want to say 87. I think July of 87. I'm almost positive it's July of 87, and the main event was the Superpowers and the Road Warriors against the Four Horsemen. And everyone was kind of surprised we got in there because Vince had a lock on a lot of the buildings, and so even to get in there, at that point he had to give the building permission for. And the way I understand the story, he didn't think we were going to draw over that holiday or whatever.
So he wanted to embarrass you, probably, right?
Yeah. But we packed that place out with 23,000 people.
And I will be riding high. Yes, I will be riding high.
I wanted to thank you, by the way. It was. I wanted to thank you for, you were talking about Animal, Joe Laurinaitis. And it's funny because I've mentioned this recently to a lot of people. I shot this photo that's on this sweatshirt along with Craig Peters. We did some horror lighting, etc. And the Road Warriors asked permission to make this into a sweatshirt. And I've had this sweatshirt here for a long time, and I wanted to pay homage tonight to both of them. It's really funny because as much as I knew Joe, I knew him from the day that Ole Anderson put him in a biker outfit, called him Animal, and I never called him Joe. Even when I saw him personally, we'd go out to dinner and do things, photo sessions, interviews. He was always Animal to me, and Mike was always Hawk to me. I always call them by their character names, but with the loss of him, it was so shocking. I got a call at about 6:45 in the morning Eastern time from Sal Corrente. He's the guy who invented Wrestle Reunion. He was known as the Big Cheese, and he's still around the business. And he said, Joe died. And I said, Joe who? And he said, Animal. I was like, the whole day yesterday, during the day I work for a nonprofit company, beside doing the wrestling full time. I help people with disabilities to find jobs. I couldn't go out and do anything yesterday. My body and my mind were obliterated by that news. I had just sent a video to his lovely wife, Kim, for his 60th birthday. She was kind of getting videos from everybody, and she included me on that. And she said he loved it because what I did, I said, who's this video for? Oh, Joe, the guy with the makeup? Oh, the demolition guy, right? She said he roared at that. He thought it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. And he celebrated that, and then I wished them happy anniversary on their Facebook page. And then that next morning, the call from Sal, and my phone just blew up the whole day. And I'm still pretty much in a state of shock over this whole thing because sometimes you expect these things, but this makes the year 2020 suck even more.
Agreed. Bill.
And I rarely use that word.
You have this extended family, and again, I know we're joking around, but you're joking around. You are an icon. You're talking to two lifelong fans.
Oh yeah.
And you made a difference in our lives. And when you make a difference in one person's life like you have, you're an icon. But I reach out to you and I ask you this question. With this extended family of yours, what we were talking about earlier, how hard is it to deal with this constant turmoil and pain? It's, you have enough with your own family and your close friends, but now you have this extended family with even closer friends. How does a man like Bill Apter handle this?
It's never easy. A lot of fans, a lot of people look to me for the confirmation of people dying. And I hate to be that guy, but I feel like it's something I'm supposed to do because there are so many thousands of sites on the internet that report rumors that so-and-so died. But unless I can confirm it with someone in the family or someone like Sal Corrente, I won't do that. So it's never, ever easy. The recent deaths of my best friend in the business, Mr. Wrestling number 2. You can see his mask right above me next to that belt that some fan made for me out of Legos. Death of Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, all these people whose careers I, along with the rest of the team at the magazines, chronicled and brought it to you pre-internet. It's very, very, very difficult. It's very hard to deal with. It's losing family.
Yeah, I'm lost for words. All I know is when I heard, I go to work pretty early in the morning, and I heard pretty early in the morning, and I have a few friends that are very close to Animal, and I didn't know if they were awake yet, and all I could think to myself was, do I call them and tell them, or are they going to wake up and open up Facebook and find out? And I didn't even know how to approach it.
But you know what? In the meantime, the other side of that is the great stuff that he brought to all of us. that he and Hawk did. They were the best kick-ass team. I used to think that the Andersons, Ole and Gene, were the toughest team in wrestling till I saw the Road Warriors. And I saw one of their first matches before the makeup, and they were kicking the crap out of who was it? David Sammartino and Roberto Soto, I think it was. And I was shooting right this close, and I was going like, these guys aren't pulling anything. And little by little, the way I became friends with them and Precious Paul Ellering, and then the photo shoots that Craig Peters and I would do, and the interviews on the Crockett shows and World Championship Wrestling, where we just had fun improving with each other. They brought a whole new, like ECW changed the business forever, they changed the business forever. And it was great. They were great guys. So I want to look at the happy side of, had we not had him or them, we never would have known about this. So I count our blessings that we were able to see what they did, and all I can say is, what a rush.
I second that, my friend. One sad part. Recently, we lost Road Warrior Animal.
Oh my goodness!
Unbelievable. Can you guys maybe talk about it?
Yeah, such a shock. I mean, over the years, we've lost so many of our good friends, and we've lost a lot of the wrestlers that weren't really close to us, and it's sad. But we were talking over the weekend, because it's the first time Barry and I had seen each other for probably a month or so, right?
Yep. Couple
and it was right. It was not a left field. It was completely out of the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest. I mean, I've thought of him quite often the last days, and it seems like everybody that contacts me, emails me, or texts me, they want my opinion on it. And I just say, hey, I have no opinion. I don't have any words for it. I texted his wife and conversed with her, and I said, there's nothing I can say that is going to help you through this grieving process, other than the fact that you have to know that there's millions of fans that loved him, and there's lots of the guys that loved him, and he's one of the very few that, Nikolai Volkov and a few guys that have died that have, Barry and I have talked about, we just couldn't understand. Guys you think are going to die for one reason or another.
Right.
And Barry knew Joe a lot longer than I did, but I mean, we were traveling up and down the road to all these conventions and stuff, good friends, and just sad, man, it's just sad.
Yeah, it's, and I broke in the business with him and Hawk, and, it just, I got the text the morning after. Joe Rogers texted me, and he said, yeah, is it true that Animal died? And, it was probably about 6 in the morning, and I thought to myself, well, the only animal I know that would have died was George the Animal Steel. George the Animal Steel died.
Yeah.
And he said, no, Road Warrior Animal. I thought, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
I was just with him not too long ago. We did a TV show together, and he looked fantastic. So that was just like, oh my gosh, any of us could die at any time. Terrible. What a great guy. Nice guy.
We met him. He was in studio
Not that long
probably
ago.
not too long ago.
Yeah,
really fantastic gentleman. Really
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It was awesome.
I will say this, right? We have a lot of stars like yourselves, and you guys are icons in the business. that is a fact. But the way you treat people, you guys are pretty incredible. I'm always waiting for someone to be like very arrogant or very like who am I? But
I'm sorry.
If it wasn't for people like you, the fans in particular,
good fans.
We were just fortunate and happy to be in the wrestling business and be able to make a living out of it and provide for our families. I mean, there's thousands of guys. It's a small fraternity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And to have some success is even smaller fraternity. So we appreciate, fans when we meet them and guys like you that help promote us.
Yeah, and what was tough about Joe, too, was, being in Minnesota, Kurt Hennig, best friends with, Rick Rude, Brady Boone, Hawk. It's just like, it's too close.
Why do you, and it maybe because, like you said, your fraternity, it's a smaller environment, but why are the drugs you believe are so rampant? I mean, Bill, you stayed away from what I've watched. You stayed out of that scene.
Yeah.
And so did you, Barry, right? How do you stay out of it? We use the word icon every so often. You are an icon. We lost Road Warrior Animal a couple of weeks ago.
Man. I had
share
some
any
of the
thoughts
first
on that?
matches with them guys. They come in from Minnesota, and I can't remember who my partner was, but I think we had one of their first TV matches with them, and they just beat the dog stink out of us. Of course, that's all they knew how to do. They were bouncers to begin with, and I guess I only found them up there or something. I don't know what the whole deal was. But anyway, they was there at TV and they was wrestling. And I tell you what, two great guys. And it's a big loss for the wrestling world, their families, and, and all the wrestling fans out there because they were two class guys.
You ever been hit that hard the first time you got in the ring with those two? Had you ever been hit that hard in the ring? Is it true how stiff
they
were?
hit hard. But back when I started, I got hit hard by a lot of them.
Okay.
Abdullah Butcher, he could hit pretty hard too.
There's our old buddy Abdullah.
Yeah, it just. But they was probably, and they would just go 100 miles an hour. It wasn't no stopping with them. They was out there and they would just go, and yeah, you did. You fought for your life, But two great guys, man. And, at the end of the day, after you got to know them and everything. Two fine guys.
Well, let me ask you, they worked stiff with you even though they were green and you had this reputation? They were still stiff with you?
Well, that's all they knew. They were stiff with everybody. yeah. But as time went on, we learned to dance together. I call it dancing.
Right.
And the more we danced together, the smoother it got. And, it's like one night we wrestled Road Wars, me and Jerry Lawler. And they wanted him to eat my lunch, and they wouldn't do it because we had built a bond, And I've just always respected them guys, and like I said again, it's a great loss to their family and the wrestling world, man.
Did anybody ever object to their working so stiff in their early days? Did some of the veterans come up to them and go, "What are you doing?" Or were they so physically imposing that they commanded respect right from the start, even though they were fresh into the business?
Well, you got to remember, at the beginning, the Funks and all them guys, they fought hard anyway.
Mm-hmm.
When I come in, I got my ass whooped quite a few times, you can call it Hollywood, but a lot of times it was, you fought, you got in there and fought. It was wrestling. When I started, it was like I went to wrestling school and I learned that there, and I wrestled in high school. But when you got in, especially me, I was like a kid in there with grown men, and so it was easy for them to whoop my ass if they wanted to. And we'll be riding high. Yes, I
honest with you. Just recently, we lost a road warrior animal. I understand that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you actually introduced his wife Kim to him. Is
Kim
that
and Joe,
true?
yeah.
Could you tell that story and maybe share some thoughts on Road Warrior?
Yeah, Joe, both of them, Joe and Mike, were, we were all real good friends. Joe didn't really party that much. In fact, I don't know that he partied at all. But Mike and I, Hawk, Road Warrior Hawk, and I, we partied a lot together. But, a lot of us did. And, Joe's always kind of the more business and more quiet, stick to the script kind of shit. At least what I knew of him, which I knew pretty good. But as far as the wife, I think she's from Houston, and her and I were real good friends at one time. And I was sitting talking to her. Joe walked by, and I hate to, no, I can't, because Kimmy might see this. Well, it's just kidding, sort of, Kimmy. It was that night that you were talking so much, I was like, damn. Joe walked by and said, hey, so I introduced them. Next thing I know, they're married.
Oh, wait. So it's like, you're like, I got to get out of this Kim deal and walk off. So
yeah, man, I don't know if she don't do cocaine as far as I know.
Right.
But I don't know what the hell was going on. It was yep. And if COVID had been around there, I'd have caught it. I'd have had it. But yeah, so I introduced him. It's just like because she's still very pretty girl. I think she's probably watching this.
She's a very pretty girl. Very pretty. Yeah.
But her younger day, bro, she was a typical Texas Rose, man. She was knock them all out.
Your thoughts when you heard he had passed, because this was obviously a shock to the community.
What's that?
Community. When Road Warrior passed, what were your thoughts?
Man, I started getting phone calls right away because a lot of the boys knew that we were pretty good. At first it was hard to believe because like not Joe. This man's in shape. This guy's he's healthy. He don't do, as far as I know, don't do any drugs. There's no way. It's just not possible. Is what I kept thinking. And then the more the calls come in, I guess it is true. And it broke me down a little bit. We flipped these on for our crying here. Real rockers aren't supposed to cry, I don't think, but actually they do. But it was heartbreaking, and the first thing I thought about was Kimmy. Like, I know it's crushing her because I think they just celebrated the night before their anniversary. So you got this big event, and then that happens. They didn't have no details like what happened. Did he just keep walking and fall over, or from what I understand, he just didn't wake up or something. And I considered that because that's kind of what happened to Hawk. Hawk had told me that right before, brother, I've worked so damn hard today without any drugs. And because I think he'd quit and he'd straightened up. It's funny when you straighten up is when shit goes wrong. But he, Hawk, they were moving or something. He was telling me he'd moved a ton of furniture. Because I used to do that before I got in wrestling for North American Van Line. So I'd move furniture all day long. 8 hours of stacking a truck, then drive the tractor-trailer truck to unload it the next day. It's wrestling with furniture is a workout. But Mike told me that. He said, "Brother, you ain't kidding about this working. God damn, the furniture, wrestling with furniture, shit. I thought I was a badass." And then I guess he died in his sleep. The heart just gave out.
Marty, you're a tag team legend, obviously. Where is the Road Warriors to you? Are they the greatest tag team in the history of this business, the Road Warriors?
I think so, but in the fact they probably drew the most money, which that's what it's all about. But they changed the game. They changed the industry. When they came in, there wasn't guys that were like, there was a big guy here and a big guy there, but the character that came with it, the haircuts, the personality, the romping, stomping, you couldn't hurt them, The Iron Man song, the whole thing, man, just changed. It changed the industry, bigger and faster than anything else I've ever seen. I've been around it for I've been in it for 35 years, been around it for 45 years. No, I've never seen nothing like that. Nothing like that.
How do you cope with this though? It just seems like we talk about this all the time. The wrestling community, you guys have gotten so close with each other, and maybe people pass faster than normal people. I mean, it's got to be tear at you when you build these kind of relationship, and this happens, right?
And like you said about the bond, we bond. I almost want to say like war mates, but I don't want to take away from people who actually war. Like my brother, served in Vietnam, so I wouldn't dare say that. It's like we go to war together.
Right.
But it's in a sense we do, because especially when we go to other countries, we're the only ones that know each other, and a lot of times when you go in these, sorry, I fixed my paper tooth. I'll explain that.
What, do you got a paper tooth? What? I'm gonna hear about that next.
How do you eat steak?
I'll take the paper out.
You gotta take the paper tooth out, of course.
Sometimes a big piece will get clogged in the gap.
How do you clean that paper tooth? It's paper.
I'll get another piece of paper.
So we just like put a piece
I've got some. I'll show you. I've got my replacement.
Yeah,
teeth
I want to
here.
see what a paper tooth looks like.
What?
I think I got it.
Are
here.
you reaching for more paper teeth?
Right now,
What is going
Well,
on
because this
here?
one only lasts so
wrestling
long.
icon Marty Jannetty reaching for his paper tooth.
Here it is.
There it is, paper tooth.
What?
And see, the problem, my teeth are so yellow. I got to drink coffee to darken this, so it matches.
You can put the mask back on now, bro.
Yeah, that's the real reason I had this on. I didn't want y'all to see it.
Claude
And
Rains, he's coming back. Here he goes.
What had happened was,
Oh.
you know what? That's what he's into bullshit, right? What had happened was, I was helping out. I was being a little cocky and arrogant, teaching some kids how to hit the post, the ring post. Make it look real good.
Sure.
I made it look real good and knocked me down.
I will be riding high. Yes, I will be riding